Also, nice wide face, and they found even in psychological studies that people tend to trust people with wide faces more than narrow faces because subconsciously they feel like they can see more, like you're not hiding anything.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm not usually.
So yeah, so people with really narrow faces, people don't judge as trustworthy, but with a face like yours, because it has a nice width to it, people will open up more.
People say that my husband and I look alike.
It's a similar nose. You have a similar nose, okay?
Similar nose, but in our big eyes.
Well, he has different eyes, so I'm looking into his eyes. So his eyes, he is more reserved. He plays his cards a little more close to the vest. He's not going to blurt out his deepest emotions with the first person who walks into the room. And your eyes are held differently, so you'll tell anybody anything. You're an open book.
Yes.
You'll be totally open with them, and that's another reason why people trust you.
Right.
It's not that they don't trust people with eyes like Mark, but they will be less likely to expect him to share his deepest feelings on first meeting.
Exactly.
Okay. And so you're a good combination for each other.
We are.
Nice balance. Okay. But you do have similar noses, which is about potential for personal power. Ooh. So this is a very good thing. So it's almost like you're on similar paths, but just in kind of parallel paths. Okay. Oh, and so one last thing.
Okay.
So
and then tell me about this piece.
Oh, yes. Sorry. Well, let's do that first. So this, the area between the eyebrows is actually a really important part of your face. In Chinese face reading, they call it Father's blessing. And the Chinese believe that mother and father have two very different gifts to give the child.
Right.
Father's gift is to bless the child's power, to say to the child, you are the most fabulous creature to ever walk the face of the earth, go forth and prosper. And of course, most fathers succeed kind of on a range, some not so good a job. If there's one single line through this area, it means distant father, absent father.
That's exactly what I used to have.
Okay.
Is one, but I am talking a groove that was so deep, it looked like somebody took a knife and carved my face.
Well, it's so interesting that you say that because this is called...
I don't feel that way anymore since I filled it in.
That mark is actually called hanging blade.
Hanging blade. I'm so glad I got rid of it because and you know what? I was able to heal my father's relationship once I filled that in.
Exactly.
And that's the only thing I keep doing is that furrow.
And I understand why. And I'm not usually one to say to someone, well, you should go to plastic surgery to deal with that. But actually, the changes that we make to our faces can create a window of opportunity for us to make the inner change. Now, if you had done that, if you'd Botoxed it, but if you'd not taken advantage of that little opportunity, it would have come back. You would have had to keep treating it,
No, and it hasn't. I didn't realize that the two were connected. Wow. But actually, I had done my most work around my father once I had done that. And interestingly enough, remember, I let them go because it felt wrong. Yeah. But this actually is the only thing that I will go and keep doing.
That's right. So you did what people are supposed to do, and they usually don't. We get wrinkles because of issues in our lives, emotional issues.
And what about these going
well,
like
so
that?
But just to finish this comment. So most people
Bossy
get the change.
cheeks.
That's right.
Bossy
Well, I got to stand up for myself. My cheeks bigger. Most people make the change, the cosmetic change to their face, but they don't make the corresponding inner change, and so the wrinkles come back. I've had people tell me I had a complete facelift a year and a half ago, and all the wrinkles have come back in a year and a half. So they don't recognize that the wrinkle on their face is indicative of some emotional issue they may have to deal with. If they did what you did, which is deal with the emotional issue, then the wrinkle doesn't return, the issue's gone, they've healed that issue. So it can be wonderful to read the information there to figure out, why things are going on, why we have the feelings that we do, what it relates back to. So you asked about the horizontal wrinkles, which you don't have.
Yeah.
Okay. So the forehead, one of the things it represents also is the decade of our 20s in our life experience. So when you could have them. When we go out into the world when we're 18, 19, 20, that's usually when we first go out into the world without the buffer of our family protecting us from the consequences of our actions. And we're so damn sure of ourselves. We're completely sure that our parents are idiots, that we know everything, and, just let us at life. And we go out into life, and what happens is, of course, we get some surprises. Well, when you get a surprise, what kind of facial expression do you make? You raise your eyebrows, and you start making all these little horizontal lines on your forehead. So the common explanation is the more surprises you had in your 20s, the more lessons that you learned in your 20s, the more horizontal lines you'll have on your forehead. It's not a bad thing, it's just indicative that someone had some pretty strong life experiences. So lastly, another sign of kindness on your face. If you look at people's eyes, you'll notice there's an inner corner right here, and sometimes it's rounded and sometimes it's sharp and pointy.
Oh, okay.
Yours is rounded. What that means is tactfulness with other people, kindness with other people. You're careful with your words. The inner corners of our eyes have to do with how we communicate what we're about to say.
What does my husband have?
Yeah, we'll have to take a look here. Oh, well, let's see. Come a little closer. Yours are a little more sharp.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. So
that's right.
So one thing is precision with words, but it can also be a little bit of sharpness with words when he's upset.
Can be.
Yeah.
Sharp.
Yeah. So in looking at this also, though, you know, the overall message of your face, one of the things it talks about actually is the archetype of the father. And the father is the authority. The father is the leader. You have this wonderful ability to kind of show up and take charge, to lead the way, to be a trendsetter or introduce new ideas to people. But the purpose is to help. The purpose is to nurture. The purpose is to take care. So it's this wonderful combination both of mother and father, that you show up with strength, but right behind it comes the caring heart. It's a really nice combination.
So, thank you. That was so interesting. Interesting. Jean Hainer is the author of the best-selling book, The Wisdom of Your Face. It's a Hay House book, and you can get it on my website, www.ColetteBaron-Reid.com. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.